Good morning, y'all. Just hopping back on here to, you know, keep this, very important topic going because as a parent, I strongly believe in not only making sure that my child's safety is number one, but also making sure that other people's children's safety is number one. Because at the end of the day, we all are a community, and I do believe it's very important to do the right thing by not just our children that share the same DNA as us, but also, to show up and do the right thing for children of other people's families, regardless of whatever belief system that we have, regardless of, the things that we choose to participate in. Because at the end of the day, God did create us with free will. So I don't discriminate this very important topic from other parents who may not share the same belief system as me. Because at the end of the day, this very important topic is about children. So I strongly believe it's very important for a lot of us parents to at least come together in agreement that children deserve to live without being bothered by sick individuals who are older and should know better not to tamper with children in a very inappropriate way, which would corrupt them and which would rob them of their purity, which would also cause chaos and dysfunction within our children in most cases. Because I'm not going to say in all cases, because there are a few exceptions to the rule where some kids they grow up into adults, and whatever experience that they had that caused trauma involving a sick and nasty grown-up that had sick thoughts about children and then actually acted it out onto somebody's child. Yes, baby?
Mommy, so I love you.
I love you too, baby. I had to pause for a second, y'all, because the fact that I had to get on here and talk about this, it sickens me. It sickens me. And I have what you call righteous anger for sick individuals who are grown-ups that are supposed to do the right thing by children. Not just by their own children, but also by other people's children. But back to what I was saying, they do have a few kids that grow up into adults on a smaller scale that do not that actually work through their trauma, whether it's through therapy or whether it's turning their pain into purpose to help other people's children coming up after them, to decrease the chances of them experiencing the same type of pain that they experienced from an adult that was very sick in the mind and spiritually broken. Because how spiritually broken can you be as a grown-up to think that it's okay to bother other people's children and make other people's children feel uncomfortable, and thereby it makes the parent feel uncomfortable because their child is uncomfortable? Like, I'm still affected by what happened to my son in my face at that. Not saying that I would have wanted to happen to my son when he's not in my sight, but the fact that it happened in front of my face, it just lets me know how bold a lot of sick individuals out here can be. And to be honest with you, I'm actually grateful that what happened to my son by an older man at that happened in front of my face. Am I happy with the fact that this will stick with me for the rest of my life? The same thing for my kid, because he's at an age where a lot of things are starting to stick to his memory? No. I'm very angry about that. But I am grateful for the lesson behind that situation, as well as for me seeing just how bold a lot of sick adults can be out here with our children. And so I say that to say that after what happened yesterday, this definitely has taught me that it's okay to not easily trust people, including relatives, whether it's in-laws or blood, to not easily trust a lot of people and to be cautious. to be very cautious. This also helps me to appreciate why my parents were very protective over me. Didn't understand it at the time at first, but now I do. Now I do, especially because of the times that we're living in. I say this to say that for a lot of mothers out here, because us mothers, we have the children more than the father does. And I'm not saying that, for it to, I don't mean it in a negative way. It's just a fact that I'm sure a lot of us can attest to. With that being said, because of the fact that a lot of us mothers have the children with us majority of the time, I will say this in the most respectful way that I possibly can. To a lot of mothers out here who have children with them majority of the time, especially when a man is not present in the home at all. Because this goes for mothers who are married or in a relationship, as well as especially for mothers who are the primary provider for their kids and their father is not present within the home. This message is especially for mothers in that particular situation. So for a lot of mothers out here who have their children with them most of the time, especially when you're out in public, please keep your children close to you. It does not even matter if they are old enough to walk with you without holding your hand. Still keep them close to you. The reason why I say that is because you just never know. You just never know what sick individual is out here while you are going about your daily routine, whether it's going grocery shopping or just taking care of business, and you have your children with you. You just never know what sick-minded person out there is actually watching you and your child and learning your routine, and also paying attention to how you conduct yourself as a parent. And the reason why I'm speaking on that as well is because I have seen, without me trying to, but you can't help but to notice because it's right there in front of your face. I have personally seen some mothers who have smaller children that are younger than my son. I'm talking about a year old and 2 years old, still in Pampers. And like one time, I was at the bus stop. After I dropped my son off at school, I was at the bus stop on my way to, I think, Whole Foods. And they had a mother. They had a mother along with another female. I'll just say, I don't know what the female was to the mother. That's none of my business. Because I was focused on those babies, actually. I weren't even focused on the mother. I was focused on the babies that were crossing the street with her because they're small. They were small. One looked 2 and the other looked 3. And so it's like she was not holding their hands at all. She was actually closer to the female that was with her. And the babies were running across the street while cars were coming. Which, by the way, that is very dangerous. That's not safe. Okay? That's not safe. And I'm not afraid to speak on that. Why? Because at the end of the day, like I said, when it comes down to the right thing, I'm going to speak up. Even though most of the time I'm a very quiet individual and I mind my business and I just go about my daily routine. But when it comes down to children and when it comes down to standing up for what's right, I'm going to speak up because at the end of the day, yes.
Excuse me, so can you please talk about the man that touched all of my hair?
Oh yeah, I'm actually still I'm covering it right now, baby. I'm covering it right now. And see that right there, that doesn't sit well with me at all. That upsets me that my son will remember that. Will remember a older man that we never seen before just came up to us and just invaded his space and touched all on his head, making him feel uncomfortable. That upsets me because he's never going to forget that. So if he could feel that comfortable to do that to my son, then it makes me think, what else would you feel comfortable to do? Not just to my son, but to anybody's child. But with that being said, back to what I was talking about. I will stand up for what's right. When I see that there's something wrong that's being done, especially with a child, I'm not going to keep silent. I'm not going to keep quiet. I'm not. As a parent, I do believe that it's my duty to make sure that I at least stand up for what's right, especially for our children. Somebody has to do it because Satan is busy out here and it's starting to become more common for a lot of sick adults to be bold with the fact that they look at children in a very sick-minded way. Because I'm trying to choose my words carefully on here. They're becoming very bold with it. And see, my son, he's very handsome. He's a very handsome boy. Some people still pass him off as looking like a girl. They've been doing it to him since he was a baby. I don't see how, because he wear boy clothes. But he has long eyelashes. He has a nice texture of hair. And like I said, he's handsome in the face. He's very handsome. They even had another older man one time that called him pretty. And at the time, I didn't want to make the situation seem awkward, even though, yes, it felt awkward for a man that looked old enough to be his great-grandfather to call him pretty. And so I just respectfully just told him that, I don't think that we should say that because, it's a lot of misleading information out here. So we have to be careful what we say to children. I put it like that. And this was an incident that happened months ago, before what happened yesterday to my son, where a random older man just came up to us and just touched him all on his head with so much aggression and excitement. It's like, no, sir. Like, then it's the older men. What's going on? What is going on? These are our babies. For one thing, you supposed to be helping us protect our babies as elders. As elders, you're supposed to be setting a great example for us on how to keep our babies safe and pure. But I got a little sidetracked from talking about the little babies that I saw that were running across the street when I was at the bus stop one time on my way to Whole Foods. And their mother was closer to the female that was with her than to her babies. And she already had made it across the street with the female that was with her. The babies had to run across the street while cars were coming by themselves. And that didn't sit well with me as a mother. Why? Because in my head, I'm thinking to myself, why is she not holding their hands? Those are little babies. But obviously they were smart enough to know, okay, it's cars coming and I don't want to get hit. And that's why they ran across the street. But still in all, they're babies. But see, the reason why I'm mentioning this, I'm segueing this particular situation with the topic that I'm mentioning, is because it's situations like that that can give off to sick, perverted grown-ups out here that you as a mother do not care about your children. That if you can neglect your children like that by not making sure that you help your children while they're small like that to cross the street safely while cars are coming, then how else do you neglect your kids? You don't care about your kids. And so sick, perverted people will pay attention to that, which will make it much easier for them to prey on your kids. And so I'm saying this to say that for us mothers, as challenging and as tedious as it may be sometimes, still in all, it is our duty to make sure that our children are safe. And we are supposed to preserve the purity of our children. That's our job as mothers, as nurturers. That's our job. We are not mothers off the strength that, oh, I've been in labor for 10, 15 hours and I pushed out a very cute baby. No, that does not make us a mother. What makes us a mother is when we actually do the work. We actually carry out the responsibility, the responsible load that we have to carry out on a day-to-day basis. Because every day, we have to be a mother. Every day we have to be a parent. That also includes keeping our children safe, mentally, emotionally, physically, and spiritually, away from sick, perverted people. This is not just for men. This also goes for women too. because they also have some sick, perverted women out here that will prey on our kids as well, as much as the men. But it starts with us. Because believe it or not, these kind of people, they're not only paying attention to our kids, they're paying attention to us as well. That's the reason why the older man that just came out of nowhere yesterday and touched all on my son's head without even speaking to me, he went to my kid first. He went to him first. He didn't even speak to me, didn't address me, approach me. For me to even feel comfortable to allow him to approach my son. That's the correct way to do it. Normally, a person, especially an elderly person, would approach me first as the parent and then approach my child. He didn't do that. He went to my child first. And had I not nipped it in the bud real quick and firmly told him while making strong eye contact with him, so he could remember my face and I can remember his, and also let him know I don't play about my child. I definitely, without fear, with the quickness, let him know, sir, please don't you ever do that again. And I was serious. I was very serious. At that moment, I did not care what that man would have been capable of doing to me. Because when it comes down to my son, baby, let me tell you, I am a lioness, okay? The same way a lioness protects her cubs from hyenas, that's the same way that I am with mine. You best to believe. The only one that I fear is the Most High. He is the only one I fear. But I don't fear not a soul on this earth at all, especially when it comes down to my son. And that's the same energy that I have with children, period. Because it's not just about my son. This is about children, period. We as mothers, we have a duty to safeguard our children. Safeguard our children on every level, not just physically, but mentally, emotionally, and spiritually. If we fail as mothers to keep our children safe from these perverted-minded people out here who lurk in crowds of people, during the day, then we risk our children being tampered with when they are the most vulnerable. Especially because children are so very pure and they don't understand the world around them just yet. They don't know that not everybody is to be trusted. They don't know that. All they see is people. Oh, this person look like me. That's why children, they speak to everybody. It doesn't matter if it's kids their age, teenagers, young adults, and older people. That's just how pure children are. They speak to everybody. Because they honestly do not know. They honestly do not know that they have sick-minded people in this world. that will do some of the most sadistic, demonic, disgusting, and evil things to them. They don't know that. Which is why us as mothers, that's more of a reason for us to protect them at all times. All times. And if it's too much for you, well then, baby girl, you need to reconsider when you choose to let a man have access to your body, because that's where babies come from. So if this responsibility of motherhood is just too much for you, okay, guess what? You need to come up with a plan. You need to come up with a plan. They have birth control. They have so many contraceptives out here. Because at the end of the day, I can't tell you not to, do what's natural. Can't tell you that. That's not my place. But I will say this, though. We cannot bring kids into this world and then neglect our parental duties. It don't work like that. It don't. We have a responsibility to protect these kids that belong to God anyways. These are God's children. They belong to Him. And He trusts in us as mothers to do the right thing by these babies. So please, to a lot of mothers out here, please, because I see it too often, keep your kids close to you. Please hold their hand. Hold their hand. Do not let them walk by themselves. I don't care if they even 5, 6, 7, 8. No, hold their hand. Because it's a whole bunch of pedophiles out here. They don't care. And they making it clear. They will come up to you unannounced and do whatever they want to your child to make them feel comfortable. Whether it's touching them on their head, just like with my child. Whether it's them touching them on their arm. That's not innocent. That's not innocent at all. Why? Because again, why are you touching my child and we don't know you, sir? We don't know you, ma'am. Hello. At least speak to the parent first. Hello, how you doing? With that being said, there was nothing innocent about that situation. That was inappropriate. And they start off small, real subtle, to get your child comfortable enough to trust them. Then they'll start giving them little gifts like sweets and toys when you're not around. Then what? Then what? We've got to do better. I'm sorry. And I'm not going to stop. Especially after what happened to my son yesterday, I'm not going to stop. I'm not. That changed me for forever. It changed me for the rest of my life. This is not even about me. I'm doing this for the children. So yes, I'm angry, but for the right reasons. For the right reasons. With that being said, this is also why it's so important to have a man in the house. When some of these men don't see that we don't have a man with us, with our children, they will automatically assume, oh, there's no man in the house. It's easy for me to go for the kill. Open season. Oh, yeah. Not for the mama, but for the kids. No. And then they got they pick. They got their pick. Because they not going to go for every child. No. They going to go for whatever specific type. Man, talking about this is it's leaving a bad taste in my mouth. That is just disgusting. I would never understand how a grown individual can look at a child like that. That is just nasty. That's nasty. I would never understand it. I got a bad taste in my mouth talking about this. And it's so sad. I have to get on here and talk about this. But I have to. And I'm not going to stop. Because it happened to my son yesterday. Oh, no. I can't. Man, look. I got to save my energy talking about this. But just know, I'm not going to stop. I'm not going to stop. Because our children are being targeted the most, is what I see right now. They're being targeted the most. It's not even us grown-ups. Not saying that we're not being targeted either, but it's our children that's being targeted the most. And that's why I'm not going to stop. I don't care what nobody say. Oh, well, you can't protect your child from everything. First of all, you shouldn't even let that come out your mouth. And then that makes me wonder, if you have children and you say that, because I've heard it before. If you have children and you say that, that just lets me know how much you care about your child. Actually, because, I'm being humorous when I say it like that. It's the oxymoron, whatever you call it. But that just shows me how much you don't care about your kids. And that you're lazy as a parent. So please, don't put that on me. Don't put that on me. Because this mother over here, she work. I work day and night to make sure that mine is safe. I don't care if sometimes I have to lose sleep, metaphorically speaking, to keep watch, to stay alert, to stay vigilant out here, to make sure that nobody can even think that they could have easy access to my son. Absolutely not. You better watch that movie Taken. Watch that movie Taken if you haven't watched it. Even though it was a father that was pursuing his daughter's kidnappers, that's exactly the type of spirit that I have about my son and about children, period. I don't play when it comes to kids at all. But I do have to make a run with my son because I'm paying attention to the time, yeah. And so I'm going to go ahead and get going. But y'all definitely will see more videos like this because this has got to stop. This got to stop. Our children, they deserve to feel safe, to grow up into productive, healthy, young adults without being bothered by sick-minded people. But I'm going to go ahead and end this video, though, so I can get my day started. Please, y'all be safe out here. Please. And please, if you have kids, keep them close to you at all times. There's no such thing as being overprotective. Do whatever it takes to keep your children safe out here.